Right, here we go. Major upgrade to the bike is to change the brake lines. So what I've done is I've drained down the whole system. So I emptied this first. There's loads of videos on this. All I'm going to do with these videos I'm going to put together here is come across the problems that I come across, or to show the problems I come across. Because this is the ABS version, so I've had a look online. I couldn't see any videos about the ABS version, so this is going to throw up probably some warning lights for the ECU, but it's something I want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Right, so this block in here I've got to get to, but I've got a feeling I've got to take off the tank and the airbox to get to it. So if I do have to do that, I'll sort of confirm that. But the rear block is just here. I don't know if you can see that. It's just here, so I might be able to get to that as it is. I'm going with Van Hill's kit, which is quite a good kit. Got this the other day, arrived. This is a 2 cable kit or hose kit for the back. This hose, by the way, is just literally a feed to the master cylinder, so it's not under any pressure. So I'll be replacing this hose. So I've unclipped it all, ready to start this. I'm going to start at the back first and do the back one, and then let you know if I have any problems. Right, first little problem was these nipples were really tight, and I tried to hit them with a normal spanner and just started rounding that one off. So I had to go and buy a proper brake 10mm brake spanner, which done the job. So I've got the top one first, and to get to the bottom one, to move that top nipple out of the way, whatever you want to call it, and then I managed to get onto the bottom one to break that. But to stop this unit, or stop this whole thing bending in out of the way, I've had to put a crowbar here, so to support it at the back. So there you go. I had that at the back of the unit to try and hold it in place while I had to put some serious leverage on it to get it out, because it was these were really tight. Okay, so that's that. The next stage now is to undo that nut there. Where are we? Undo that nut there, and there's also a nut at the back here that holds this whole unit on. So yeah, that's the thing. Well, I'm just putting this back together now. I want to use the original bracket to hold it all in place, but the original bolt is actually too short, so I'm going to use a slightly longer bolt, and I'm going to bolt it from the underside up, so the nut will be on the top, because I can't get it, there's not enough room to get the new bolt down. So that's okay. I've had to put that bolt in from the other side, which is fixed, solid. That new nut and bolt there is in. That's great, but I'm going to have to undo it all now, because I can get this top nipple done up nice and tight, but I can't get my spanner on the bottom one. So what I'm going to do is undo this one again, take the bolt out, move that one slightly out of the way so I can get onto that one. While it's in situ, I'm going to do that one up nice and tight, so that one's done. Take this bolt out and then get on the bottom one. It's a bit of a faff, to be honest, but with these sort of jobs you just got to take your time and do the job right. You don't want fluid leaking everywhere. Alright. Right, just a bit of an update. This bit in here, I know you can't really see it at the moment because it's pretty dark, but this was a complete faff. I mean, you're talking about using a spanner that way round, and then that way round, then back that way round to try and get a turn on the nuts. And I had to do a combination of putting a bolt in, then undoing a bracket, putting a bracket back on, doing the bolt up, just so I could sweat up these two nipples. But it's done now. Anyway, that's the lining. What I've done with the reservoir is I've actually tied it up with a piece of string, and I've actually put some brake fluid in there. I just let it gravity feed back down to here. I just saw a bubble come out there. I've got that quite loose. There you go. There's another bubble just come out there. I'll try and pump the pedal. What happens? Need to put a bit more fluid in there. It's gone down. So I'll do that in a second. Right. Okay. Back around to this side. this side so far, touch wood, is working out quite well. So right, let's get this light sorted out. Right, as you can see, I don't know if you can see that because I'm shining it straight on the top of the camera. I've got the first nipple out. Then I had to, where that socket, we used to see that socket, I basically took that bolt out, but then I've had to put it back in again to hold the whole clamp in place to get the one on the inside. Now I've just broke it, the inside one, that's why the spanner's hanging off there. So now I've got to take that bolt out again, bring the whole bracket down, then I can undo it and take both hoses out at once. But as you can see, I worked out you have to remove the radiator. So, well, not remove it, just undo it. So you undo it from that pivot point now on both sides, and it basically comes. You pull it off this side to get it off that hook at the bottom, that little hinge. You see the rubber there that goes on there, and then that's the point where it picks up on there. So it's a case of just move it down out of the way, and there's rubber there as well that sits on that back pin. Now I'm not seeing that back pin now. Okay, so hopefully the front will be a little bit easier than the back, but this is by no means an easy job. It's not an easy job at all. So the idea that see there is a bolt. You might remember I'll put a bolt in the back, but I actually put a longer one in and put it in the other way around. But there's a bolt there, but there's no way I can get to it. It's like the head is the other side of that block. Yeah, so I'm just going to remove the whole block and then thread in the new hoses and then do them back up on those nipples, and we should be all good. Right, it's all going very well. I marked the line that goes down with a bit of blue tape, so I wouldn't mix them up. So obviously one line goes down to the caliper and one line goes up to the master cylinder. What I've done is I've cut the bracket. Where is it? I've cut that bit off the back of the bracket because obviously that used to fit around here, but obviously it won't fit around the new one, so I'm going to use the original bracket. Same old story, I'm going to use the longer bolt to pick up, and now I've just got to reassemble it. So that's where we're at so far. Right, so last night I got the hoses installed. Still need to sort out the fixing points, like there for instance. This bit here, at the front, I'm going to cut that off because it sticks right out. It was out here somewhere, it's ugly, and I might want to put a bag in it to carry like a puncher kit or something, but this can move backwards as well. You know, this whole bracket here seems like some sort of scaffolding, which also includes this bit here. Maybe when they made this bike, they've made it so you can put a whole new front on. I don't know, probably. Anyway, last night I taped the front brake on to try and let any bubbles come up into the reservoir, and also using a stand, I've just put 2 little blocks of wood to hold the rear pedal down. So I'll take that out now, and I've got a pedal at the back. Obviously I still need to bleed it out, and then the front, I'll take it off. Still got no brake there. Obviously this end of the system is just full of areas, so I'll have to start bleeding. Alright, that's it for now. Okay, it's job done. Took the bike out for a ride. Obviously, what I noticed is the ABS light went out straight away like it normally does. Banged on the back brake to lock up the ABS. Still had brake afterwards, so I thought that was all good. Then on the front I found somewhere where there was a bit of gravel, and banged on the front brake, got that to kick in the ABS system, try and knock any air out of the system, and when I came back I bled the rear, got absolutely no air out of it at all, which was a very good sign. Still got a really good brake, and the front one did both sides, but this side I've got a little bit of air out of this side. So yeah, very good, very happy with the result. Now I've got a solid, very solid handlebar lever action. What I'm going to do tonight, I've already set up that one up there. I'm just going to leave the brake on, wedging a bit of piece of wood, just to get any micro bubbles to come up into the reservoir there. And I'm going to do the same at the front, so I'm going to tape this to the handlebar, just so any micro bubbles can come up here overnight. And then, even though that is solid, it may improve it a little bit. Then what I'll do is I'll ride it for a week, and then I'll have a little go at just bleeding at each nipple, just to see if I can get any more air out of the system. But I think I'm pretty much there really. So that's it. I'll just put these on as well. You might notice that. This thing here, I just can't get on with this at all. I've put it in place, but I may move that, or just cut it off completely and mount it on here. It just sticks out. It just sticks out too much, and I might want to put a tool roll in under here, and that's just going to get in the way. So I may do something about that. It almost looks like it just needs to be twisted round or bent round a bit. I'll probably fix it. But there you go. That's it. So they are the brakes. Moving that way around. Yeah, very happy with the result. I think they look good as well. They're all in black. That's it. Hope this helps someone. That's going to do the same job as what I just did. Cheers. Right, final video on this, I promise. Okay, that's the handlebar taped up overnight to release any micro bubbles that are in the system up into the reservoir. One thing I do want to say is bleeding the back was relatively straightforward. I used a hand vacuum pump. I bought mine off eBay. Chinese copy thing, I think. Doesn't work. I had to basically mod it with mastic to make it seal. But if you're going to go down that road, buy a proper one. I recommend buying a proper one. Anyway, the front was just bleeding it forever. It just took ages to bleed. Now I know it normally does when you have got empty brake lines, but this is an addition with you've got more brake lines, because the brake line literally goes back to the pump at underneath the tank there. So there's a lot of air in the system, but it took quite a long time before I could even just sucking the air out, and I was holding the hose on as well to make sure I wasn't sucking the air in round the hose on the nipple. Also making sure I didn't have the nipple undone too much, so I was sucking air in round the tread of the nipple. But yeah, it just took ages, and I was at it for ages, and I even resorted to, when I did manage to get a bit of a handlebar, shall we say, where I was, managed to get some kind of pressure, I was doing it the old school way of just pumping, getting pressure, then just releasing it, and then pumping it through like that. But I just kept at it, just persevered with it. Not being funny, what choice have you got? And got there in the end.